Let me get set up here. I was running. All right, give me just a second. And we will start the rapid fire Q&A. I am not ready tonight at all. I apologize. All right. Let me load up here. And then we will get started, I promise. All right, so welcome to the rapid fire Q&A. I'm a little bit late and not prepared at all, so I apologize about that. But give me just a second and we will get started as soon as my computer loads, which would be fantastic. Oh, I bet it's because, yep, that is why. I apologize. Tonight is our rapid fire Q&A. I did run in here. It was 7:59 and I was in the barn. So I'm a little bit late and now I'm having computer issues. So give me just a second. But if you have any questions, go ahead and ask. And I will get to them in just a second. So if you have any questions about Coturnix quail, raising quail, hatching quail, brooding quail, quail for profit, whatever the question is about quail, feel free to let me know, and we will do our very best to help you on your journey with Coturnix quail. All right, so I am burning up. I'm going to take a long drink, and then we will get started, I promise. I'm very sorry for the delay. Okay, stay hydrated. Okay, here we go. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Normally I am a little bit more prepared and actually on time. Not today at all. In fact, I still have about an hour left of work outside as soon as we're done here. So we'll see how that goes in the dark. If you have any questions about quail, feel free to ask, and we'll get going here. Tonight is rapid fire, so I'm only reading questions. So if you have any questions about anything that I had mentioned, please put a couple question marks or exclamation points at the beginning and or end, so I can help, so I can see it a little bit better, and I'll try to look through them. But we'll see how that goes. Scott F is in the house, says, "Hey Zach, can't wait for my sex links. Hopefully they are not too far out." We're getting fairly caught up on sex links. I don't know off the top of my head, but we're getting a little caught up. Victoria, Texas is in the house. Welcome. Joy's in the house. Welcome. Victoria, Texas donated $5 to the 18 Under contest. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Sorry. Jasmine Bass is in the house. Welcome. Glad you're here. We do have a thunderstorm coming in tonight as well. It's supposed to rain most of the day tomorrow, and I got everything. I mean, I've got a ton of stuff to do outside, but I've got one little strip left to do outside before it rains, so we'll see if I can get that done. But it is hotter than Hades here, I can tell you that. Victoria, Texas says, "I only have 2 females left. My only male ducked down when I pulled his sandbox, so I left him be, Wild Jumbo." Well, I hope you get caught up, and hopefully it works out for you. Let's see, Barbara's in the house from Florida. Welcome, glad you're here. Foster Farms is in the house. Welcome, glad you're here. Vernon and Ed Got Bait are obviously in the house. They are my moderators on here. They do a fantastic job, so thank you very much. Foster Farm says, "What is the expected mortality rate for breeders? How many do you guys lose each day or week?" Well, my averages are different than everybody else's because I've got 6,000 plus quail at all times. Typically, your males will last about a year. Your females will last for about 2 years. You want to switch your males out every 6 months for best practices for fertility. Switch your hens out once a year for best laying production. And in that time frame, if you're doing a production standpoint and getting a lot of eggs and using artificial light and things like that, typically you'll lose I don't know, maybe one out of every maybe 7 or 800 a week would be the average for me. So out of every 7 to 800 quail for breeders that I have, I probably lose one out of them every week. I don't know how that equates to what you're doing, but that's the only way I can think of it right now. Bear with me tonight. I have literally been outside since about 7 o'clock this morning. Well, I was in the barn at 6, but I was outside at 7, and I literally ran in here at 8:01. So bear with me. My mind's a little off, but that is the right answer. Chris Hayes in the house from Virginia. Welcome. Glad you're here. Victoria, Texas says, I slept great without chuckles in my ear outside the shop all night. There you go. Jason is in the house. Do jumbos lay the biggest eggs? Jumbo whites lay the largest eggs, but yeah, jumbos will lay larger eggs than everything else generally. Carl's in the house. Is your jumbo wild same as jumbo brown? Yes, same thing. We just call it a little bit differently. Foster Farms is in the house. Hubby Dan is bringing binging videos, and that man loves a list. He is putting together our daily checklist like Zach has, and is wondering how many % replacement birds per month year to plan for. It's a great question. If you're doing just one cage for meat and eggs for you and your family, then I would do like once every 2 months, like take a week worth and incubate, is what I would do. If you're doing kind of a production standpoint, you're trying to sell and quail for profit, then I really recommend you having a small cage of maybe 15 breeder. Well, I guess it depends on how many breeders you got, but typically about 15 breeders in a small cage, and those are your replacements every week. So either you're getting a better color or a larger size, or you're replacing a dead one, or you're replacing one that got injured, or you're replacing one that's not producing very well, or you're replacing one that that's old, or whatever the case may be. So you're typically hatching out weekly for your replacements. But it could be on a small scale. I mean, it could be 5 hens that you're just using as replacements. Blake's in the house. Hey, Zach, I ordered 170 mixed eggs and had 140 hatch. That is wonderful numbers. Congratulations. My notebook's even in the barn. I'll write it down on this. 140 out of 170. That is fantastic. Congratulations, Blake Phillips. What was that order? Mixed eggs. That is great job. Congratulations. That's a great hatch rate on shipped eggs, and in the summer, you're killing it. Great job. You did a great job. Kevin Lawrence is in the house from Mississippi. Welcome. Glad you're here. I was reading something else and trying to say something at the same time. S.O. Swanson's in the house. Says, no questions, just here to support and give my thumbs up. I did not see this till now. S.O. Swanson donated $25 to the 1800 contest. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. If you did not see our live last night, we are doing, this is on our website now. It says, I support small farmers. You'll get that shirt if you order it on the website. And then a portion of that, well, $5 of that goes towards the 18 and under contest to encourage and enthuse the next generation getting involved with self-sufficiency. So thank you very much for your donation. I really appreciate it. Myshire Farm's in the house. How many jumbo quail can fit in a Dale's Quail's cage? It's 19 by 39. It's a 3-tier. Oh, dear God. I can't do the math right now, unfortunately. But it's 3 quail per square foot. So 12 and a half, 12, 24, 36. So it's a 1.5 by 3. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 13. About 13 to 15. 13 to 15 would work for you in that cage. Espa Keys in the house. Welcome. Glad you're here. Fran Crow's in the house. Welcome. Can't wait to see you next month at Quail Con. Boston Bruins is in the house. Welcome. Glad you're here. False Farms in the house. Can you give an idea of a format to follow for price grouping for birds or eggs, i.e. 0 to 50 versus 0 to 500, then 500 to 750? I don't really like to talk about pricing as far as what you guys do. I think every market is different. So I always use the example that, like for balutes, we sell balutes for 50 cents an egg here with a delivery charge, plus they have to order in volume in bulk. So that's how we do that here. Now, there's a customer of mine that is in Washington or California, I think it's Washington, and they get 80 cents a balut. And then those customers pick up at the farm. And then I have a customer that's in like southern Kentucky or Tennessee area, and they do about 25 to 30 cents a balut. So, you know, it just depends on your market. It depends on what your costs are. There's a lot of variables. Now, I do feel that my prices are on the website. I feel that those are reasonable throughout. So I think that in the markets that are, you know, in Washington where it's 80 cents for a balut, my prices are cheap. And then, you know, where the price for the balutes are 25 cents or 30 cents, my prices are reasonable. I don't think I'm overpriced anywhere. So that's an overall general, but I think that you need, you know, you don't want to leave money on the table when you could charge more. But then on the same token, you don't want to overcharge and not get those customers either. So you really need to look at your market, look at who's selling around you, look at who's selling on Craigslist. You know, there's usually a Facebook group that's your state, you know, like Quail Breeders of Wisconsin or Quail Breeders of Florida or whatever the case may be, and kind of check out around there. So I would do the research and find out what your market will support. Thomas is in the house. Any issues when transferring quail between cages to get my ratios right? No, typically it's better to do it when it's a little bit dark out or darker. And then typically just don't overstress them. So typically the ones that you're taking one out of a cage and putting it into another. The cage that you're moving to, okay? The best thing to do is take those birds and put them in a small box, and then put the new quail into that box, and then put them all into the cage together. Then you eliminate any territorial issues or anything like that, any picking. That's the best solution. That's the best practice. Now, with that being said, if you've got a very large cage, what you can do is, so let's say you've got a cage like this, you can move all your quail down to one side and put a little divider, you know, piece of board, piece of plywood, whatever, put it right there, and then put the new quail in. And then you can take that board out a little bit, throw some quail on the other side, a little bit at a time, and then they kind of get confused on who's new and who's not. But that's not the best practice. Boston Bruins is in the house. When putting 4-week-old with adult birds, any precaution adding? There you go. We just talked about that. There's Hankers. There's the Hankers. You want to say hi? Come here. Come here. Let's say hi. Let's say hi. Look at that dog. Look. 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 I don't want kisses. I don't want kisses. All right. Go see your brother. Maggie ate my food. Well, she got a bunch of babies in there. She was hungry. I guess I'm not having dinner. Let's see. Jason's in the house. I have a large outdoor cage, 9 foot high, by 8 foot by 16 foot long. Do I need to add a floor, or is the grass I have there okay for 20 quail? Nine foot high by 8 foot. No, the grass would be just fine. Grass would be fine. That's not thunder. That's one of my kids. RMOJ23 says, do you need to add grit the oyster shells if you are leaving them out for the females? Do you need to grind the oyster shells? No, you do not. Well, let me rephrase that. There's, I think, 3 different types of oyster shells that you can get. There's like mini things like sand, and then there's a small, and then there's a large. Get the small, and that works just fine, and then you don't have to worry about it. If you get the large one, they'll do okay, but it's not great for the digestive system. Katrina's in the house from Gilroy, California. Welcome, glad you're here. Victoria, Texas says, I gave my 2 females a large tray of cold water to swim in the afternoon. One enjoyed the cold feet. There you go. Austin, raised in the house. How do I stop my quail from fighting? I just mix some quail with each other, but they are picking on some of them. That's what you'd want to do. You want to take them all out of the cage, put them in a dark location, small, dark, confined location for about an hour to an hour and a half. And then once they get all discombobulated, you put them all back in the cage. That should fix your issue. But make sure that it's 3 quail per square foot and 5 hens to every male. 5 hens to every 1 male. I said that right, I think. Mimi Cleveland's in the house from Enon, Ohio. Welcome, glad you're here. Witch Doctor's in the house. Welcome. Saudi Gomez is in the house. When you send eggs, you send it looking for sex from the egg shape. When you send eggs, you send it looking for sex from the egg shape. That's not a real thing. I wish it was. If it was, I would be very wealthy, only hatching out hens. But yeah, it's an old wives' tale. That's not true. You can't do that by the shape of the egg. Glenn Wells is in the house from Quail Ridge. The feed store had no quail starter. Turkey starter 30% that I had been feeding had to get chicken starter crumble at 20%. Any worries with just going with that? I would look, well, you already bought it, so I don't know how old they are. Well, if they're over 8 to 10 weeks old, then yeah, that's completely fine. If they're under that, it's not gonna hurt them. They're not gonna die or anything like that. It will hurt their growth a little bit as far as getting as big as they can be. So if you could maybe find some mealworms or something to add a little bit of protein to, you could do that with it. Also, you can look at like a broiler starter. Really anything that's crumble and anything that's 30% protein, they'll eat, or high protein. So it's a little low, but it's you know, worst case scenario is they get the turkey starter back in and you just keep them on the starter for about an extra week and a half to 2 weeks, and then they'll still gain that week. It's just going to take them a little bit longer to get to full weight. Victoria Texas says about 1.5 inch water deep ice cold. There you go. Oh, with the bath. Witch Doctor says, not a question but funny story. We gave eggs to a friend and his girlfriend said they were too cute to eat. She took 3 of the eggs to a bird sanctuary and they hatched, so they're living their best life there. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Myshire Farm says, I have my quail at 2 roos and 9 hens. Is that a good ratio? Yeah, I mean, I recommend 5 hens to every 1 roo, which would be 2 to 10. Obviously, you don't want to do 1 to 9, so 2 to 10 would work in that scenario. Yeah, that'll be fine. Not a problem at all. Blake Phillips says, me and my wife can't wait to see everyone at Quail Con. Absolutely. I can wait just because I've got a lot to do, but I am very excited about it. Actually, so Maggie is our almost 3-year-old Great Dane. Her birthday is on my birthday in August, and so she'll be 3 this month. And so she's pregnant. She's due in like a week or two. And Jenna just took her to get an X-ray. So she's due within the next 2 weeks because that's when they do the X-ray. And she's got 13 pups, they think. She was too big for the X-ray machine, so they could only do one side at a time. So some of them could have moved over to the other side. So we're not 100% sure. But they said that the next X-ray size up was for horses. So she's just too big. And now she ate my dinner, so she's even bigger. Schaefer Family Farm says hello from Michigan. When raising jumbos and adding calcium to grow or crumble, do you force feed it or have a separate feeder just for it? Well, I wouldn't force feed it. You can do one of two things. One, you can actually add it to the feed, and that works great for us, or have a separate feeder. But when I used extra calcium, we just added it to the feed every day, and that worked great for us. He does have his tracking device on. Witch Doctor says, love Hank. He needs to be on a shirt. The sheriff of Myshire Farm, more like the troublemaker. Schaefer Family Farm says, that's what we got. That's what we are doing. Not just wanted to make sure. Oh, you're not talking to me. Victoria Tech says, since I only have 2 females left, they are each a year and a half old. Recommend. Yeah, I'd either start hatching their eggs out real fast, because their production's going to drop dramatically, or it's time to get some new blood in there. Would have made my 2 recommendations. Foster Farm says soybean meal is 30-35%. Can this be fed to quail in a pinch if they... Yeah, absolutely. Yes. My ranger buddy's in the house from Canton, Texas. Welcome. Glad you're here. Right, Ed? Foster Farm says, hit the like button, thumbs up, folks. Absolutely. Support the channel. I greatly appreciate it. Victoria, Texas says they slowed, then quit laying completely a few weeks ago. I don't know if they're going to come back. They're probably molting right now, but because they're over a year and a half old, I don't necessarily know if they're going to start again. They might. They might. Doreen Brown's in the house. We got our first set, 20 quail this week. So great. The advice you gave us about our aviary a few weeks ago was perfect. Thanks for all the support you give. Well, thank you very much for asking and listening, and best of luck to you. I wish you all the best. Penny is in the house from Alvarado, Texas. I hope I said that correctly. I think I did. Welcome. We're glad you're here. And that looks like all the questions tonight. It is rapid fire. I'm going quick. So if you can, hit the like button, support the channel. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions, I'll stay on for just a second more. So if you have any questions about quail, feel free to ask, and I'll be happy to help and answer the best of my ability. I think I'll be doing a video later this week with Papa. It'll be a short video about Quail Con, but Papa the Builder will be doing a short video for us. We talked about that today, so now we just got to get it done, but it'll be fairly short. We just got to find the time to do it. So you can look forward to that. So make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we got a fun video coming for you. Victoria, Texas says they are fixing to get let loose as soon as I figure out how to get the stray cat that thinks they are just for fun. There you go. Penny says we're trying to perfect our hatching of eggs from chicks we hatched. Dry hatch was so-so, trying regular hatch again. There you go. Foster Farm says great. Get back to work, Zach. The barn is calling. Absent. I know. I can actually hear it. Well, it's the fan I can hear, but I can actually hear the industrial fan going. So I do hear it calling. I do. Jason Hughes says, what's the coldest temp quail should be in outside? The temperature is really not a big deal with quail. They can go up to like 120 degrees to negative 30, negative 40 degrees. They just need to be able to get out of the elements. So if there's heavy wind, snow, rain, sleet, whatever the case may be, make sure that they can get out of those elements, so they definitely don't get wet, or scared or anything like that. But other than that, the temperature really doesn't bother them. It's the elements that could. My range buddy says the heat this summer has been rough. Our covey is outside and they recently moved to our off-grid homestead. Between the move and the heat, we've lost most of our birds. Any tips on outdoor coveys? Make sure that there's shade. Make sure there's an area where they can go cool off a little bit. That would be a big thing. It sounds like they're outside, so the airflow would be okay. If you want, you could freeze a couple water bottles. I don't know, maybe let's say 10 water bottles, freeze them. And then when you go feed them each day, take like 5 out and just spread them around. Don't open them, and they'll lay against them, get cooled off, but they'll still not get wet. And then when you go feed them the next day, just replace them with those 5 and take the other 5, put them back in the freezer. That helps a lot. The Steve B333 says, are larger eggs always mean larger birds? No. Egg size has very, very, very little to do with the size of the quail. Very little. It'll have something to do with, but not very much at all. Penny says, we've been having over 100-degree temps here in Texas as long as I provide frozen water bottle. Well, there you go. See? There you go. They do just fine. My ranger buddy says, we lost all our golds, pearls, wilds, and Egyptians. The scarlets are doing the best. Oh, that is a bummer. I'm sorry to hear that. Scarlets are one of the most resilient, for sure. Golds are too, though. So are the Egyptians. Pearls are okay. So it's kind of weird. That's kind of weird. Yeah, the water bottle thing might help you a lot. And just make sure that they have shade. And if they are heat, if it is very hot and they're overstressing by moving or whatever, that will definitely get them to die early as well. So try not to stress them out very much, and that'll help a lot as well. But that's a couple of ideas for you. 145 out of 170 mixed eggs hatched this week from a shipped egg. So congratulations on that. Thank you for letting me know. I will transfer this to my iPad as soon as we're done. So thank you very much for letting me know that. Looks like we've got a couple more questions and then we will get out of here. Our Mojo says, for injured quail, do you recommend any tropical ointment or spray for minor injuries? I don't. If you separate them and let them heal, they heal pretty well on their own and pretty quickly. So no, I don't recommend it. You can, but it's not necessary, I don't think. Schaefer Family Farm says, what are the different jumbo color varieties you offer? And more specifically, what are they known best for, i.e. meat, egg size, amount of eggs, most meat, fastest grower? So real quick, Jumbo Wilds or Feather Sexable, they are the largest, and they've got pretty good size eggs, and they're decent, they're one of the lower layers as far as quantity goes. Jumbo Whites are about 1 ounce to a 1/2 ounce smaller than the Jumbo Wilds. They are not feather sexable. They do lay larger eggs than anything else, and they are more productive as far as egg production goes. The Jumbo Egyptians are feather sexable. They are on the lower end of Jumbo, so they're about, I think about 12 ounces, which is still really good size compared to back in the day. The average was 10. So they're still a good size. They are feather sexable. They do lay very well as far as production goes, and their eggs are lower end big. Jumbo Sexlinks are comparable to the Jumbo Egyptians. Those are all feather sexable as well. The Jumbo White Wings are, as far as size goes, is comparable to the Jumbo They're a little bit larger than the Jumbo Egyptians. Their egg production is lower. Well, yeah, so their egg production is actually lower than the Jumbo Wilds. So they'll produce less eggs for you per year than anything else. They are feather sexable. About 95% of them are feather sexable. That's the breakdown. But yeah, there's a link below, Schaefer Family Farms, to all about the colors, and anyone that says Jumbo on it, you could watch that. It's like an 8-minute video. It'll give you all the information individually about those colors. Foster Farm says, last chance to hit the like, guys. Show Zach some love. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Our Mojo says, thanks for all you do. Back to work. I hear you. Victoria Tex says, have you taxidermied your first? I have not. No. Schaefer Family Farm says, thanks, Zach, for the info, and thanks, Vernon, for the link. Not a problem. Now, I have not looked today, but as of yesterday, we only had 2 tickets left to Quail Con. So if you're coming to Quail Con, I can't wait. I can wait. I've got a lot to do, but I'm very excited about it. So I'll put it that way. Especially to meet everybody, have a lot of fun, enjoy each other's company. If you're not coming to Quail Con, hopefully you can plan on doing it next year. And if you're still on the fence, make sure you get those tickets. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of great people to socialize with, a lot of great vendors, a lot of talks, a lot of experts, a lot of stuff going on, a lot of tours. We're going to have a lot of fun. Jen D says, how many days out on Jumbo Whites? About 2 to 2.5 weeks right now. Cutter133 Outdoors says, the quail I got has started hatching. We'll send the hatching rate in a few days. Thanks for everything you do. Mark Stevens from Tennessee, thank you very much. Good luck, and I wish you all the best. And yeah, absolutely. Keep me posted. Foster Farm says, no more tickets. What? Hold on. Oh dear. Oh, I don't think I needed that. Give me just a second. Kids use my iPad and I've got 7%. Drives me crazy. I'm gonna look here before we go. Well, that's loading next year. Yeah, we're gonna have one next year. I'm not talking about it yet, but just start planning. It's gonna be the beginning of September. Do you find the Jumbo Whites more aggressive? Absolutely not. They're more docile than anything else. It's a good question, though. Brett Boyd says, I get the colors for hobby, but if you're raising for meat and eggs, well, here's the thing. The colors are nice, not necessarily like for meat and eggs. They are going to be the most productive quail for you. So as far as egg laying goes, they're the best you can get instead of the jumbos, because the jumbos are going to be larger eggs and larger meat, but they're going to produce a lot less. So for example, the jumbo wilds are somewhere around 270 eggs a year per hen, which is still decent. But like the Rosettas are like 330 eggs a year per hen. So that's almost 1 egg per day, and that's what, 60 more eggs per hen in the Rosettas. So they are going to be a little bit smaller, a little bit less meat, but you're getting quite a bit more eggs consistently. So it just depends on what works best for everybody. It does say we're out of stock. We sold them. So let's change that. Let me look at something real quick and see if I can add any more on. That's loading. My whites have never been aggressive. I agree 100%. Zelda D and Z Crazy Farms in the house. Haven't seen you for a while. Welcome. Is the shirt you have on 100% polyester? Yes, it is. Brett Boyd is in the house. Welcome. Glad you're here. Oh, I think you've already been here. Victoria Tex says, do you have any down jackets made from quail feathers? I do not. We really don't do a lot of that stuff. It's a great idea, but we don't really do it. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to actually not answer any more questions because I got to jump out of this to look at the numbers to see if I can add any more tickets on for Quail Con. So we would max out we got those benches. I'm doing math. Hold on just a second. You know how hard that is for me. So if we did that, then that would be... I think that would be the max. I can't do any more than that. So this is what's going to happen. I just going to update here. So we are going to add, if you want to come to Quail Con, I really want anybody that can come to come. So I'm going to add 37 more tickets. That is absolute max. I will not be able to add any more tickets to that. So 37 is it. I won't be able to add any more. We've actually added on, I think, 4 separate times, which is fantastic, and I'm really excited about it. That means it's a huge success, and I hope you can make it. But if you are on the fence, I highly recommend you getting them now. And anyone that is coming to Quail Con, I really can't wait to see you. I really can't. But get the word out there, because I really do think that this is going to be great for a lot of people. I mean, I think that people are going to learn. I think they're going to grow relationships. I think they're going to learn how to do different things. I think one of the most exciting things I'm excited about is I think when people leave and start driving home or flying home or whatever the case may be, I really do believe that they're going to take everything that they learned, all the conversations that they had with fellow quail lovers and self-sufficient lovers and people doing different things. I really do think that they're going to just, start jotting things down and going, you know what? I think I could do that. Or maybe this is my next step. Or, and then we've got marketing experts, and we've got bee experts, we got feed experts, we've got, tours, and you can kind of see how we do our thing. And I really do think that it's going to be very, very beneficial to a lot of people. So get the word out there. There is 37 tickets left, and this is the last time, I promise, that I will be putting on any more tickets. I just can't do it. I can't do any more than that. So we'll try to make it bigger next year, but I'm running out of space. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But thank you very much for buying the tickets. I can't wait to meet everybody. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for all the likes. I really appreciate it. Thanks for supporting the channel, and get the word out there about Quail Con, because it is going to be off the hook, and I am working a lot on getting ready for you guys. So I can't wait to see everybody, and until then, as always, stay safe. We'll see